Hello, hello everyone. So this is day 4 of MIT App Inventor course, and in this course we will learn about the variables and we'll calculate some variables, like we'll calculate some numbers and we'll use your variables and we'll create one simple calculator. Okay, so let me just check my live video. It's working fine. Yeah, that's great. Fantastic. So it's working. If you have any doubt or anything, you can just ask me on chat. Okay, I'm here. Cool. So let's wait. Just 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Oh, again. Again, I think this one having issue again with emulator, but let's let it go for now. What I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna just start it. Let's wait only. No, this is not going to start. Let's cancel this. Now let's start the first project here. Click on project, click on new project, and my project name is variables. That's what's happening. Okay, here in this live we will learn the what is variables, how we can use the variables, how we can reuse the variables, and what's the use of these variables, why we should use this. So you can see that's our first screen. Okay, now here we need to use the variables. So how we can use the variable here? So variable, every time you can use it in a block section. Let's go to the block here. So in the left side we'll find the built-in option, and you'll see the variables option. Here a lot more like control, logic, maths, text, list, dictionaries, colors, variables. So click on the variables and you'll see initialize global name and 2. So let's just drag and drop it. So what is this? Initialize global. It means whatever the variable you create here, that you can use in your whole projects. But now what is this global and how we can use this and what is the use of this variable? So first let's create a variable. The variable name, suppose the initialize global, and the variable name is the name, and I'm gonna assign that variable name value to the text field, and I'm gonna just assign this value, suppose TCB. So that's the TCB value is stored in the name variable. Name is a variable here, and that variable is stored the TCB value. If I will just say here like hello, then what that will store? That name will store the hello value. So if I want to use that hello name in multiple times, suppose I'm gonna create here the chatbot, and every time I need to use the hello word, then what I'll do, I'm gonna just call this name variable to use that hello word. You can use this like hello, I am a TCB chatbot here. Like this is the whole text. So you just need to use the name variable to fetch that whole value. So that value can be anything. That value can be text, numeric, list, anything. So here we are using the text value. Hello MTCB chatbot here. This is the text value, and we are storing that value in the name variable. Okay. Now let's store another value. Suppose I'm gonna just create variable, and let's create the number variable. So I'm gonna just global variable name is age, and I'm gonna just in this age, as you can see here, I'm gonna store the maths value and I'm gonna store the 20. So the age is 20 here. So whenever you call this variable, this will store here the value is 20. So we'll get the 20 value. Okay. Now if you want to fetch anything, okay, so you just need to store that value. So suppose you can create multiple variables, like control, like copy paste like this, and store the h2 value is 30, h3 value is 40, like this. So all these are just a variable, and these are the values that you can use in your app. Now how we can use it? Okay, so go to the design, and here you can see the button like this. I'm going to use the button, and I'm going to use the label here. I'm going to make all this thing in the center. Click on the screen and make this align horizontal and the vertical also in the center like this. Okay, and then whenever someone click on that button, okay, like this. So I need to get the value that I have stored in the name. Okay, so how we can get that? So for that button, I'm gonna just use here get value. That's the text. Okay, I'm gonna use here. Now whenever I click on this, that once I click on that button, so the name variable value will display here. So for that, I'm gonna just text 20 and here value, like this. Okay, so how we can do this coding? So once I click on this value, so that will get that label will set as a name variable value. So go to the block, so button one dot click. So when someone click on that button like this, okay, here, so we need to store, click on label 1 and set label 1 dot text. That now without variable, you can just set the value is like anything from the text, like this. I can see, like, we can do this like this. Okay, this is the one option to display the value once people click on the button one. But if you want to make it dynamic, or if you want to use it, okay, so in the using the variable, so delete this and click on the name here, see the get global name, and just call it here. So whenever I click on the button 1, so label 1 display the global name variable value, and that value is hello, I am TCP chatbot here. Simple. So that's the use of variable. Okay, now let's this is the basic rules of variables here. Okay, so in the variables we can do lot of things, like we can calculate the things, we can use the dynamic things. Now what I'm gonna do here, go to the design, and I'm gonna get the input from the user. So in the left side you find the text box like this. Okay, so I'm gonna just delete that, or just let it be, and go to the block. So whenever someone types something in the text box, okay, then what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna get that value, okay, in a variable. Okay, I'll store that value in the label. So for the, I'm gonna just create variable, just this is the variable here, and this is variable name is suppose text box value. So I'm gonna just ask them to their profession or the name. Suppose the name person name. Okay, this is the variable name, and I'm gonna store the null value. So click on text and just store the null like this. Now whenever someone put the value in the text box 1 dot text, so I need to say in the label that hello. Okay, hello is the my static value. So for that I'm gonna just hello, and that name that people put on the text box, that should be displayed. So I'm gonna use the join like this. So first that should be the hello. Okay, so this is the static text. Okay, but name should be dynamic. So how we can get it? So we are gonna get that name from person, but first we need to store that value also. Okay, so how we can do this? Okay, so first we need to store the value. So what I'm gonna do here, click on the person name, set global person name in the first here, set global person name as text box 1 dot text. This one here, text box 1 dot text is here, this one. So set text box 1 dot text value will assign to that global variable, and the set label is hello, and that the name will display. I'm going to use here the space like this. Cool. So once the people once people fill the details, like suppose Saurabh, and that value will display once I click on the button hello Saurabh. Okay, like this. So that's the use of variables. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, Adi stories. Hi Adi, how are you? Okay, so if you have any question, Adi, or anything, so you can ask me in the chat. I will give you the reply. Okay, cool then. Thank you so much, Adi, for joining this live, and thank you others for joining this live, and let's continue. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, let me just check the voice. Yes, voice is working. Cool. So what I'm gonna do here, let's create the simple calculator app here. Okay, with using all these variables. So how we can do this? So it's simple, that I'm gonna just delete all that, or let it be. Okay, and I'm gonna just do one thing here, go to the design, and I'm gonna just add another screen. We have learned that how we can add the screen. Click on a screen and see the screen, or just click on that add screen option, screen 2, and you can just name that screen like calculator like this, and click on OK. That's our another screen. Okay, make sure that global variable will not work on the another screen. You need to pass that value from one screen to another screen. We will learn that thing also in the another tutorial, how we can pass the one global variable value one screen to the another screen. Okay, so let's wait some second. Yeah, done. So that's our calculator screen here. So let's create the simplest calculator. So for that I need to use here two text box, like 1 and 2, like this. Okay, and now I'm gonna add here one button. Okay, so once people click on this button, so that is something like the plus. So I'm gonna add this plus sign. So once people click on this button, so that both value will calculate it, and that will be displayed in the label like here. So I'm gonna click on calculator, that is screen name, and make all the things in a center like this, like this. Okay, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just plus that value should be at least 18, something like this. Okay, or 20. Make it font bold, and you can just change the background color of that button also, so like pink or something like this. I'm gonna just delete that video because it's getting more capturing more data or something. That's why. Okay, I should want to, yes. Okay, like cool. Here, cool. Now this is the one button. I'm gonna just copy paste that button, but I need all these button in a vertical form, horizontal form. So for that I'm gonna use the layout. Click on layout and see the horizontal arrangement like this here, and I'm gonna just copy paste like this here, and I'm gonna make this with this fill parent like this. Okay, and then I'm gonna just copy paste that. Okay, so make sure horizontal should be where there should be fill parent, not a button. I'm sorry, just copy paste that 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, for the plus sign I'm gonna just make it to the minus. Okay, for the another is like for the multiplication, like asterisk like this, and for divide I'm gonna use here this sign like this. Okay, and this is the result. So for the result, like this, make it font bold to the 20 at least, font bold. All these are the box. So first value, I'm gonna just here the first value, another text box hint, that should be second value, done. Now how we can do the code for that? So it's simple. Let's go to the block section here. Okay, now here what I'm gonna do here, once the people click on the button 1, okay, this is button 1, it means the plus sign. So we can rename all these button also. Let's go to the design, see the plus sign. So I'm gonna just rename to the like plus like this, btn. Make sure that don't forget to add that btn, so you know that what that component is, button. So another button name is like minus, so min, and then btn like this. Okay, and another one is multiplication, so I'm gonna just rename it to mul, and then btn multiplication, and then fourth one name is divide, so like div btn like this. So we have that 4 buttons, so we don't get confused over in the block code. Let's go to the block. So plus button, yes, let's click on that button name here, and button name, sorry, button plus button. So once the people click on that button, okay, so what we need to do, we need to get the both values data. So I'm gonna create one variable, click on variable, initialize variable like this, and click on the first value like this. Okay, and that I'm gonna assign to that value to 0 now here, and just copy paste that like here, and this is like something the second value like this, this is also 0. Once I click on the plus button, okay, that value should be assigned, okay, to the variable. So first value like this, set global value, and first value from the text box 1.text like this. Here you will get that value from here like this, and again just copy paste this, and like just set it here. The second value is going to be like this, text box 2. Done. Now we need to, whenever someone click on the plus button, so we need to combine that value. So how we can do this, and we need to display the data in the label 1. So label 1.text here like this, done, and we'll set that value, click on the maths. Okay, or just scroll down and see the plus icon, just call it here and get the first value like this variable and just get another value like this. Okay, now the same thing we need to repeat. Okay, so see, the both thing is repeating, global first value and global second value. So what we need to do, we can create a procedure here. In the next tutorial I'll show you how we can create the procedure, how we can use it. But in that like I'm gonna just show you in the short, like just drag and drop procedure here. If you are repeating the blocks, suppose, then you can use that procedure value to reuse your blocks or reuse like this. So I'm gonna just copy paste this here because I'm not just using cloning this one is here. So I'm gonna just set that. What I need to do, I just need to call procedure, see the call procedure. So once that procedure will call, this is something like a function. Once I call this, so this will call like this here. Okay, so this is for button 1, another button is like for the minus, okay, min button, but for that I need to use the maths block again, and for the minus value like this, and the value should be first minus second like this. Okay, just delete that. Now another, just copy and paste 2 times for the here's for divide, and first here one more for the multiplication. So click on the mul button, and I'm gonna just use it here, and you can hide that code also, like just whenever I double click on this, see that would look like this, and this code will look like this. Okay, so I'm gonna just make it like this so you will not get confused what's in that variables. Okay, like this here. So this is plus button, this is minus button, this is for the multiplication. So for the multiplication I need to use again maths and go to here, this again call block here, call it global first value and then global second value like this, and delete this. Okay, for the multiplication, no, for the divide, like first one, this one, and we need to use again, go to the maths, and here you will find the divide option like this, and just call it here first value divided by second value. That's it. So that's the use of variable, and that we have created one amazing calculator, simple calculator app. Okay, so this is the overall app, and this is the overall thing that we have just learned, that how we can use the variable, what is variable, what is the use of variable, and how we can create a simple calculator app. So you should run this app, you should try. If you have got or you got any error or anything, you can just comment on the any video or any Telegram channel or Discord or anywhere. I'll definitely give you the reply. Thank you so much for joining this live. Have a great day. Have a nice life. Bye bye. I can wait here some minutes so I can see if there is any doubt or question or anything here. So I'm waiting here. So let's see if there is any